What's going on, Type 1 fam? It's Type 1 CA here. Um, I'm back with another video talking about the ypsopump, I should say. Um, I've been using it for a few months now. Yeah, about 2 months, I think. Um, it's been going pretty well. Honestly, I've been loving it. The biggest change I've found was using Fiasp in it. Compared to Nova Rapid, which I usually use. I'm using that currently just because I don't have any more Fiasp. I bought one vial at the pharmacy last week. Used it for a few days. I think I got about 5 reservoirs out of it, and then switched back to Nova Rapid. But my time on Fiasp on the pump, with my struggle to pre-bolus, which I struggle with that a lot. um, Fiasp, with how quick it works, it works. So it's rated for up to 2 minutes before a meal and up to 20 minutes post a meal. So you can take it right as you're going to eat or briefly before you're gonna eat, or even after you eat. Which I've done that. I do that sometimes, and even with Fiasp, it doesn't work that well if you take it after you eat. So I would take it maybe 5 minutes before you start to eat. Like it works really well that way. And my numbers were a lot better on Fiasp because of the pre-bolusing issues I have, because of how fast it works. There is a bit more irritation I find around my site spot. I get more itchy. It gets more red, I find, which I don't use the soft cannulas. But if you were to use like the Orbit Soft or whatever they're called, I think it would cause more occlusions. But I use the Orbit Micro, which works great for me. So yeah. So my numbers lately have been pretty good. Apart from for me it's pretty good. I know for everyone it's a lot different, but my time in range right now, the last 2 weeks, have been about 65%, with about 34% above range, and then about 0.9% low, which isn't too bad. I mean, I think my pre-bolusing is the issue, especially with the highs that I get. And then I had, I guess when I was sleeping, I think it was last night or the night before, where the tubing actually came unplugged from my site somehow. However that happened, I don't know. But when I woke up, my blood sugar was at like 18, and I looked down, my tubing was not connected to the site. I don't know how that happened. Um, I think my blood sugar before that came out was at around 8, which means I don't know. I guess it's still trying to work around how to get used to my body, because it needs to be more aggressive at night, I find. Um, but that's just how it works with me. Like, I find overnight it's being a um, little too conservative on the corrections, and it's something I need to talk to my educator about. And I see them in a few weeks, so I'll update you guys when I see them. Um, yeah. But I do have on my screen here, I'm not showing it yet, but I do have my Life Cloud. I used Gluco last time, but I'm using My Life Cloud this time. So I'll just read out because it has some information of me on there that I don't want to share. It's got 81% auto mode on, 3% attempting, which is mostly when I think when I change my my sensor, so my Dexcom G6 right here, which I use patches from Pimp My Diabetes. I think it's a dog one on there right now. Um, they're fantastic. They're the best over patches I've used for my skin, and I have very sensitive skin. I'm allergic to acrylates, which are a part of the a lot of medical adhesives. That's what I've understand from allergist I've seen. And there's no real way of avoiding it because I have to wear the patches. I have to wear the adhesives that I'm wearing with the Dexcom, my infusion sites, all that. Um, yeah. Getting back into this, I've found Fiasp to be fantastic for controlling my sugars. And I'm talking about I've had days when I was on Fiasp, I've been at least at 80% in time and range, which is a huge boost from my about 65 on Nova Rapid. Um, and it's interesting to see how how much my bolus is versus basal insulin I use. So on the screen, again, I'm not going to show it, but it says on here I take of my insulin, 24% of it is a bolus, whereas 76% is basal insulin. That shows you how much basal insulin I use. So my total daily bolus is about 37 units, whereas my total daily basal is about 117. Um, my average carbs are very high, which I need to work on, but that's another issue. Are 312 grams a day approximately. My GMI is 7.3. Glucose variability is 38, which I want to push down probably 4%. Um, Average glucose 9.2, which isn't great. Yeah. This is all, well, the pump is, I guess, is still learning me because, like, again, noticing my trends. I've noticed dinner is especially where my blood sugar spikes after I eat, most likely due to the pre-bolusing issue I have of just not doing it. I'd rather, like, I remember to bolus right when we eat, but not before, which I know you're supposed to do about 15 minutes before you eat, but I can't remember to do it. I don't know if that's ADHD in me, like if that's my ADHD, I mean, but yeah. And I've switched pharmacies. So if you guys are in Canada, I use Endor Health. They're fantastic. They're also my current pharmacy. Um, they also do pump supplies. They're an official partner of Ipsomed Diabetes or my I think they're called My Life Diabetes now. Um, they are fantastic. I couldn't be happier with my pharmacy. They worked out any sort of problems I have. They continue to work out problems I have. They ship my stuff very quick to me, like within 2 days usually, if not next day. Um, yeah. And the only thing I'm struggling with, like the biggest problem I have with the ypsopump is the reservoir size and it only being 1.6 milliliters or yeah, 1.6 milliliters in the reservoir, which lasts me about a day, a little over a day sometimes. Um, but that's with being insulin resistant like me, that's a problem you're gonna have, especially if you don't have coverage for anything over, um, like in Ontario where I'm at, they give you $600 every 3 months. If you don't have private insurance to cover anything after the fact, like after the $600, you're gonna be in hot water with paying for the reservoirs. I mean, especially when you struggle with insulin resistance like me. That's something I need to work on. There's ways I can not really get around it, but improve my insulin sensitivity. Um, but overall, I'm loving this pump. The ypsopump. I've fallen in love with it. Like I liked it better than using AAPS on with the dash. Um, it, it's plus it's approved, so my team can follow me properly with it. They don't have to sort of backstep on it, and like I had to use a different clinic on top of my main one when I was like DOI looping or using AAPS, which wasn't my favorite. They were a fantastic clinic, but I'd rather use my home clinic to treat my diabetes. They know me well. They're very great with my diabetes. Um, yeah. And if we're going back to, um, I guess, um, I don't know what to talk about now. Yeah, no, I mean, I got a job now, which is nice. So I'll have private insurance within like 3 months probably. Um, which is amazing. I'm hoping they cover Fiasp insulin though, because that works. We don't have Lumjev or however you pronounce that in Canada. They decided not to release it for whatever reason, even after it was approved. Um, but we'll see how that works. Fiasp is still my number one insulin. I love it. If you struggle with pre-bolusing like I do, which there's people out there that do, not everyone. Everyone's different with their diabetes. No one is going to be the exact same. You just got to take it into account. There's going to be off days. There's going to be bad days. You could be struggling, with a lot of stuff, and diabetes just tops it off. You just got to remember to stick with it. It's not really a choice, but you have to. Diabetes is a pain in the butt, but you have it for life if you're type 1 diabetic, and gotta learn to live with it. Overall, I guess, love you guys. Love my type 1 friends. If you guys want to hit me up on Discord, I'm going to leave the link in the description to my Discord. I'm a bunch of friends in there. I have a diabetic part of the Discord. You guys can hit me up on there. Any questions or just want to hang out? I've been playing Battlefield 6, that is. And I will see you guys in the next video. Yeah. Hope you guys have a great day, great evening, great afternoon, whatever you're watching this. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.